Today's topic is rewriting the rules.
Oh,
Yeah. I feel like sometimes we're just giving things a different name, like limiting beliefs and narratives and things like that. But it's important to restate the same thing over and over again because it is all centered around finding your most authentic self, right? Trying to live as close to your inner happiness as possible. Get rid of everything else.
I think the rewriting the rules perspective is still a different way to look at it because sometimes I think it's easy to forget that we write our own story.
True.
And society makes us believe that we have to live by certain standards. And so looking at it from the perspective of you get to rewrite the rules. And I actually really liked, I went through the document and looking at the common rules to challenge that you wrote out, I thought
Hmm.
was really helpful. I know I'm like skipping ahead, but because at first you're kind of like, okay, what does that mean? Or what rules can I
Yeah,
change? Or like, how do I look at that? And so reading through those, for example, a very common one is work comes before rest. And rewriting that to rest is part of my work. It fuels my best ideas and energy. So that's just like a quick example, but yeah, I think looking at it from that perspective of you are the author of your life and you get to write what your life looks like.
for sure. And it might be like family or society or past experiences that create these rules. It's so funny because we were just having this conversation the other day, Mark and I, because I said something. I had some sort of like memory come up that reminded me of, oh, it was about the car. We were having some sort of a car situation. And I remembered where I was living in Vermont, so I have a Subaru because everybody has a Subaru. It's like literally the state car. And
Love that.
it like literally almost was the state car. I think it was voted on. Anyway, they just decided not to name a state car. It would have won. But nonetheless, I was having like engine issues, right? And I could tell that there was like coolant leaking into the engine and like things were not good. Like I could just tell smoking, it was smelling like coolant, it was bad. And here comes my dad. And me and my dad have always had a very difficult relationship. But here he comes to help me with the car because he's the man who taught me how to change my oil and do all the things so that I knew how to handle the car. And I told him like I just need to get the car towed. And he's like, "You're like 3 miles from the house. Like we can just drive it home. We're not paying for a tow truck." And I was like, "No, like I literally don't think I should start it. I'm pretty sure if I start the car right now, this engine's gonna seize." And he's like, "The engine's not going to seize. I'll put some oil in there. It'll be fine. Just start her up." And we had this like back and forth for 5 solid minutes of me very respectfully trying to be like, "I really don't think this is a good idea." And him just being like, "Just listen to me. Like, I know what I'm talking about. You don't think after so many years that I know what I'm talking about. You think you know more about cars than I do? Whatever." So finally I was like, "Okay, fuck it." So I started. Sure enough, the engine seizes up. So like now the engine's completely fucked. And I just kind of look at him like, see, I had this revelation of this is what taught me to be so apprehensive of people's advice and feeling like I always have to figure everything out by myself. I'm the only person that can give me advice. I'm the only person that can get it done. I'm the only person that I should trust. And everybody around me doesn't know what they think they know or is speaking from a place of wanting to be right or like ego. And so I became very self-sufficient. And that was one of those the person it's especially when it comes from like your core humans, your parents, and you realize like you can't trust them, you start like wondering if you should trust other people. And that was something that I literally had to rewrite of that's not true. There are many capable people in the world. And it also doesn't mean that I'm weak for asking for help. It doesn't mean that I'm not capable because I'm asking for help. So yeah, that was one of those rules that I definitely consciously work on rewriting.
I
Mm.
feel like for me, I have that feeling too of I feel like I have to do things to make sure they get done right. But then I catch myself getting resentful because they're not helping or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be. But you didn't
Hmm.
ask for help. You just
Oh
one of
no,
those
I rocked
situations.
that emotion for a very long time. I was just like, these mother truckers like don't even try to help. Nobody seems to care. They're not pulling their weight. And then it's like you haven't created an environment for that to be the case. Like You haven't created an environment where somebody's like, this person looks like they could use help. They seem to be open and receptive to someone offering them help. That's like, dang, yep, that's me. I have definitely, I need to work on that. So I relate.
Yeah, anything come to mind for you guys when you hear rewriting the rules?
Yes. Mine is mainly a lot of it is my parents and shit that they said when I was younger. My mom was really, she had a lot of opinions. And some of those opinions I took for fact and they weren't. And a lot of those opinions were driven by her experience and everything. And it's for the longest time, we rely on our parents for nourishment and support, financial, emotional, whatever. Whether they deliver on those is a whole other thing. But I feel like when you become a young adult, you start seeing them for people and not the answer to everything in your life. And it took a while for me to unlearn some of the things that were taught to me or unlearning some of the behaviors I watched growing up. One of them was my mom's perspective on both my parents, all three of my parents, my mom's stepdad and biological dad, their perspective on money. And today I see money as like raw energy. And then for them, it was like absolutely something necessary. And some people have it, some people are born into it. But if not, you're just going to be working your whole life. And that's not necessarily the case. We're all working, but they didn't really view money as a tool. They viewed it as something that it wasn't a constructive viewpoint, long story short. And for me, I try to look at money as something that you can use to fertilize your goals and dreams or whatever. And they never looked at it that way. That's one out of probably 50 things that I've had to unlearn from my parents, but that's probably a bigger, more relevant one.
Yeah, fire. And so true. And I feel like we are living in a different time is part of that too, because so many of us are becoming more conscious and learning to unlearn some of those things versus just living in survival and just going with the flow and just regurgitating the same thing over and over again. Because my parents were very much the same way. Like it's literally like you just need money to survive. And as long as you have enough to survive, like you'll be fine. There's not any joy that comes with it. And I'm sure they learned that from their parents and yada yada. And a lot of their generation felt that same way. And I'm sure
They
the people
also
who
just didn't have access to the same information that we do.
agreed, yeah.
Because if you think about it, back then, not having easy internet access or talking to other people to get different ideas, or it literally was just like, this is what everybody does, so this is what you're supposed to do. And if you don't do that, then, you're subpar.
And their level of influence was just the people around them, right? And so if the people around you have the same mentality as you, which they probably do because they live in the same neighborhood as you, they probably live at the same economic level as you do. And I do think that's part of why we are in such a different space because we have access to so many more things, even if it's something as simple as having an Audible where you can listen to books really easily versus having to take the time to sit down and hold the book and read the book. Right now, I can multitask and absorb information. So, aside from the internet itself and all of the things that we can learn from others that don't live near us, we have access to even knowledge and things like that. The ability to learn different things has drastically changed.
Yeah, I remember being like 23, maybe 22, like around there. And that was when I had the epiphany of my mom had me when she was 18. And so thinking about that, and it's funny that it took a couple years for that to even register, but being able to shift my perspective and give her grace because imagining myself when I was 18, having a kid and like all the things that came with that and all the struggles that she had to endure and all the things, it's like versus giving her a hard time for that. She was doing the best that she could and coming to that realization of she was just a kid having a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, all parents, I think they have that. You can see as you get older the differences of what their circumstances were and how they were able to navigate that. And they were literally just making the best of what they could when they could.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that comes with so much like self-compassion for your own stuff. Like when you are expanded in that capacity, when you start to give yourself allowances and give yourself grace, you can give it to others so much easier.
Yeah.
Being able to break your parents down to real human beings it's humbling.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you said that earlier, I was like, yeah.
Because it's for there's some people out there who unfortunately didn't have awesome childhood. Not saying that I had an awesome childhood by any means, but I'm very fortunate for the parents that I had. And I can imagine how it would be having a parent who didn't give a shit, for lack of a better way of saying things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't imagine the ties or the burdens that you have to take on and unshackle from yourself from all of that kind of dynamic.
Yeah. Takes a lot of work, my friend. A
Mhm.
lot of work. A lot of work. But and the number one thing is literally having that ability to recognize that they're just people,
Yeah.
right? Like they're just human beings who are doing their best, who are dealing with their own shit, and they also have the responsibility of raising little humans who I'm not a parent, but I am friends with somebody who is a fantastic parent. And one of the things that she very clearly recognizes is that they hold the mirror to you. So all of the places that you're failing, your children will show you. And
Mhm.
so having a child, I'm sure me as a kid, I was a hell of a mirror. And that can be triggering for somebody who does not want to be fucking triggered, who doesn't want to deal, who doesn't want to grow, who doesn't want to see anything differently than what they're currently living. And so recognizing when you start looking at all that stuff back, you're like, damn,
Oh yeah.
that had to be tough. And their reaction was trash, and there's no excuse for it. The abuse is unacceptable, and there's no allowance for that. But there, you can have understanding, and you can have compassion, and you can say, "Yeah, think about how much of a shitty place you had to be in to behave that way."
Like my parents with, say, credit cards, even that's a newer thing.
Mm.
But we utilize them to benefit us. And my parents act all Dave Ramsey. Those things are no, why would you even get into them? Those things are evil. Once you max them out or whatever, and then you get new cards and whatever, they're like, no, that's how you get in debt. Everybody goes in debt. Credit cards are no good. You should pay them off and cut them up. Yeah. I'm just like, you don't understand. It's real estate. It's the game. I'm actually surprised at how many credit cards I could get just playing the game kind of thing with my contractor business. But they are old school where they save money, and they keep telling me I should put cash everywhere, put cash in your cars in a hiding spot so people can't find it. Like they seriously, I don't know where in their vehicles they have the cash, but I'm sure knowing that, but I'm like, the heck, and just keep that as a savings because banks aren't trusting enough to have a saving, even though they have a small savings account, but that's their mindset is just don't use that money. Just save money as much as you can. And they invest in farmland. That's what they do. And they want me to be out of real estate and invest in farmland. I'm like, no, that's what you guys do. I don't want to do that. I want to be my own
Right.
person and not, they want me to do that and actually be out there harvesting right now. You
So
know, like
was
if you
that hard for you to differentiate from, or like how was that process of doing your own thing? Where did that come from?
I have to deal with it almost every time I talk to them on the phone. Dad's getting the combine ready, or I'm running him parts, or whatever. It'd be nice if you had time to help us, kind of thing, like guilting me. They like to guilt me into
Browbeating
that.
you.
Yeah.
Do you feed
So
into it? Do you give them a reaction?
I tell them I'm busy with my own stuff. I'm busy doing contracting stuff or my own houses, which I am. I'm always posting about it. And because they don't go
Mhm.
on Facebook or anything, guess what? The people in Rockwell City that they live in this small town, they're talking to them about it. So my parents, when we go talk on the phone or I meet them in person, I don't know. They must hear this from one of my friends or the banker or a real estate agent. Did you see Megan's doing this? Like they somehow find out about it,
Hmm.
that what I'm doing. Oh, there's proof though. I'm not lying. I am busy working on my own stuff, but that's them trying to convince me. And I'm like one of five also. Brian's the only one farming. The others, like he's the oldest too. Like we figured he'd take over anyways. Like we're glad that he took over. We're so glad. But no, they want all of us to work together on the farm and buy farmland and stay together and help each other. And it's like, no, we don't get along. We do not get along.
Yeah.
We're just, yeah. So that's my.
It's interesting how our parents have their expectations of thinking like, oh yeah, my son, like my mom was like, my son's going to go to college and do all this. I'm a 4-time college dropout, not really planning on going to school or anything. Or this is a little bit more personal in my life. When I came out of the closet, my mom, and I came out not giving anyone the option to not accept me, kind of thing. I was like, this is one aspect of my life, excuse my French, but I was like, so you can get on board or get the fuck off, kind of thing. And I was the same way with my family and my sphere of people. I did not realize what kind of effect it would have on my mom because I'm the firstborn. And she had her own expectations and ideas of how my life would be. Like, I'd have a wife and kids, and she'd be a grandmother. Like, those are still possibilities, but not in the traditional sense anymore. And I think when that happened, that affected her. But she had her own expectations for my life. And she rationalized a lot of it of where, oh, this is just a phase, whatever. I'm like, obviously not. But I didn't realize that until years later. And then I had the conversation with my mom being like, look, like, I didn't realize it was probably a little bit of a gut punch when I came out, was it not? And she was like, no, it was. And you also were very adamant that this was you. And I really struggled with that. But I'm glad that you are who you are at the end of the day. And I'm glad you were comfortable with yourself. So it's just, that's a more personal example of your parents having this vision or having this assumption of how your life is going to unfold. And like hearing your story of your parents probably have this romantic vision in their head. Oh yeah, like when we're gone, our kids are going to take over the family business. And that sounds like an awesome movie I would love to watch. But that doesn't fit your, maybe someday, who knows what the future is. But right now, I'm doing contracting, I'm doing real estate, I'm trying to put some weight in my purse, so to speak. And that's your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be hard when it feels like you're letting people down by rewriting the rules. I think that's where there's a lot of growth that comes with that because you're starting to prioritize yourself over just doing what makes your parents happy.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, the parents always come around. Like you said, I think we also have to recognize that it's a shock for them as well. There's just this idea of, oh, they assume this is what your life is going to look like. I think it's definitely not the healthiest way to raise kids. I think allowing them to explore different options is like the ideal, but obviously, how we were talking earlier, it's you're raised in this certain environment, all the people around you, you're going based off of what you're told. And so there's this norm you're expecting your family to fit into. And yeah, I think it's a huge thing to recognize that you're able to change the narrative however you want.
Who grew
For
up in
sure.
a churchy type family too that expects their kids to keep going to church. And
Mhm.
everyone else, that's all they do. I stopped going to my family get-togethers, my immediate family get-togethers, because that's all they talk about, especially if it's on a Sunday too. But yeah, I'm just like, I've stopped. I've made an effort this summer to visit when Alan came. I'm like, why did I do that? Just to make them happy, even though, yeah, it was just
Yeah.
awkward.
And that's one of those things that you can explore too. Are you getting something out of it that makes you feel fulfilled and like energized, or are you doing it out of
Mhm.
obligation?
Yeah.
Because so many people place such weight on family when in reality, you have options. You can love them from a distance. And if you do want to spend time with them and you want to help them understand how some of the ways that they move are pushing people away, that might be something to explore because, like, how sad is it that your children stay away because all you can do is try to beat them into farming, right? Like, I would assume that the reason you want them to farm with you is because you want them near you. And it's so
Right.
what is the true goal? Do you want to be your vision upheld of everyone farming, or do you want your children near you? And then those are the choices that you have to learn how to make because I don't think that people recognize a lot of the times, whether it's farming or religion or politics or career choices or sexual orientation, like whatever it is, if it's you have a very strong vision for something or a very strong opinion about something, and your priority is to feel heard in that space versus I would hope that the underlying root is to feel close to someone, is look at your methods versus what's actually getting accomplished. And no, I don't think you have to be like the sacrificial lamb and go sit there and deal with it so that you can be close to your family and maybe get them to see the other side. But it might be something to just explore having a conversation around of like, why do you guys want us to farm with you? Because I want you guys close. Okay. We've told you as fully grown adults multiple times that we don't want to do that and that's not for us. And so by consistently bringing that up, all you're doing is pushing us away. And so if that's you want to ride that out, but recognize that the reason most of us aren't kicking it with you and separate ourselves is because this is all you want to do is try to convince us of this and it's not working and not feeling like you just have to go along with the ride because that's what makes a good daughter.
I'm gonna jump in here if you don't mind.
Never.
Seems like right away, I jumped in late, but it seems like right away, what I thought of this topic is what everyone's talking about. It's more like the family thing. And from Lauren's story or Meg's story and stuff like that, it just sounds, to me, I think it's like the older parenting ways of how they used to be, and they're just stuck in those ways. And that's just how it is. This is what we want for our child and stuff like that. Doesn't work out the way they try to push their beliefs. That was the old way of parenting and stuff. Now we let our kids do whatever they want to do. They don't want to do this, fine. You don't want to do the violin, fine. You don't want to do football, fine. You were pressured to do these things when you were young, whether you liked it or not, because they wanted to see certain of you of whatever it is. But so rewriting the rules in that case, I can say, I don't want to say anything like bad, but I feel bad that you have that feeling, Meg, with your family and stuff, because nobody should have that. We're grown. You shouldn't have that feeling. And I hope that one day that could get resolved with you, but with your family. But it does suck. And the one thing I can say is family is sometimes just needs to be cut the fuck out. Because to rewrite those rules, sometimes it includes eliminating those people. And it's tough to say it, to know it, to feel it. I won't go into too much conversation about it, but my boyfriend the other day, he's always has problems with his sister where she's always just trash talking him. And she's the woman who's lived in the same fucking New York apartment on Section 8 for who knows how many years. And she's always down talking on him and how he's this or how he's that and how he's this. And he just takes it and takes it and takes it. And I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that? He finally put his foot down the other day. And I was like, cut that shit out of your life. And if she really loves you and cares about you, same thing for anyone else who is struggling with these things with their family. Rewrite the rules that fit for you as an adult and that you want to live by. And if they can't get with it, I love you guys, but I will love you guys from a distance. One phone call once a year kind of a person, because you guys are not accepting to what we're telling you. And then when we're there, you guys are not making us feel comfortable while there should be, I don't know, it should just be more than making you feel uncomfortable in any way because you're not that person or you didn't do this or you didn't do that. And that's what they wanted. And that old school shit for some of those old school parents, some of them are stuck in those ways, but some of them you can sit them down. And it sounds like Lauren had that story a little bit closer to it with his family where it was tough at first, but his family's got the program. They're like, okay, this is what it is. They're not going to bother him again about going back to marry a woman. They're just going to leave it. It's it. Accepted it. So there's certain families that will, certain families that won't. But I can tell you that rewriting the rules is going to consist of you cutting some people off.
Yeah, I've tried.
Me and everybody. Me too.
And it is definitely easier said than done. And sometimes it's like it just takes time. Not to sound like cliche or anything, but it's the reality is like sometimes timing is such a big thing in life that I feel like I've come to realize. You might meet the perfect partner, but if the timing is off or you guys aren't in the right place, then it's very hard to make it work. Or like you come across a job opportunity that you might think is the best thing for you at the time, but it doesn't work out, then it's just not meant to be at that moment. And it's the same thing with like relationships that you have with family members or friends. Sometimes you outgrow people, or sometimes you just outgrow people and their attitudes, their ways of thinking, whatever. And then I think that's just the universe's way of making room for the people who are going to be in your orbit.
It's a powerful feeling, though, to feel like you have taken control and you will no longer allow that feeling of the feeling you're feeling with the siblings or family. That breaks my freaking heart for you. Like that, nobody should feel that, but it's a horrible feeling. But like he said, maybe they'll take 3 years. And then they'll call you and say, hey, we now know that you were serious. We now respect and understand it. Or maybe they never will. But that's not your demon to fight. That's theirs.
I
You
think
don't
it
need to prove yourself to people who don't get it. There's no
I'm
point in
learning all this now, by the way.
explaining. There's no point in explaining. I don't even know the proper analogy. I'm not even going to try. I'll come back to it when I think of it.
Trying to
As-
explain it over and over and get it in their head kind of thing, and then they still have their own opinions and still say, okay, I remember, I feel like I talked about my trailer park at one point and it was my assignment last fall to tell my parents from this night Zoom class thing, and Brandon was like, Brandon Vespar, he's Meg, you have a special assignment. You have to tell your parents about your trailer park. And I'm like, no. So I emailed them about it, and they're like, okay. It was the weirdest email reply. He's like, that is unexpected, but it's accepting, or are they just like, okay. But then now they just, every time I don't know, if it gets brought up at all, or they bring it up, you need to sell that. You need to get rid of that. That thing is not helping you, not going anywhere. I'm like, and here I keep running into these little problems, whatever, but I'm like, I'm I'm learning, I'm researching a lot, whatever, but then they just see fail. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stop talking to you guys about anything. I'm like, nah, they don't need to know anything. They don't need to know my personal life.
That's
Why would I
exactly
do
what I was gonna say, is that I think sometimes rewriting the rules, especially in this situation with relationships, it can really just start with setting the boundaries. And I will say for sure, Megan, like the close-knit, like living in proximity to your family is very difficult. Like I think I have been able to restructure my dynamic with my family, and I think that's really only because I've moved from Virginia to Florida. So we have
A
that
hundred
like
percent.
built-in distance to allow me to change the dynamic. So when you're living close to family, it's definitely a lot harder, but you can still be intentional about setting those boundaries. I actually just had that this past weekend visiting family, and it was awkward. Like they were asking all these questions, trying to pry about like my life and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? Ray and I have decided to keep things between us. And I could tell that they were shocked by that. Like they literally had no response.
Isn't
And
that amazing?
Good for
it was
you.
cool because I thought I was gonna get feedback of why or what, but it was like they were like so
No,
shocked that they
it's
just
Good for
it's
you. You
amazing.
shouldn't get a but why.
yeah,
I'm glad that worked out well for you.
Yeah.
yeah,
That but why wouldn't have been good.
I
No,
know.
and really, who cares if they had a but why?
Yep.
Because
But
it's our life.
yeah,
I don't
Because it's
know. It's
our
just
life.
I can relate with that moving to Florida thing, man. Oh man, like my whole
Mm.
family is up north. So like waking up early sometimes my mom is, what are you doing? What have you been doing all morning? Like some days I slept until fucking 11. Like I was left till 3 a.m. on the computer doing whatever. I don't have to explain this shit though, right? But sometimes she makes me feel like I'm fucking useless adult who sleeps until 11. No, I got up at 7. Got my son breakfast. I made him lunch. I packed him to school. I did what I had to do. I'm still tired. I'm on 3 hours of sleep. I laid the fuck back down. But I got tired of that. So I literally one day, thanks to Monica again, I literally one day just told her, like, not all of us are morning people. Stop asking me all the time. Just grilling me. What did you do today? And sometimes I'm like, stuff. So
I
now
don't entertain those fucking conversations anymore. That's why I don't
now
talk to
she's
my
getting the
brother.
hint. So it just takes anything else, a little bit of molding. I don't do it in a rude way. I just be like, oh, I had a few things to do, some computer stuff, whatever. And I'll rush by the conversation and go into something else. But yeah, so that literally what Jackie was saying, that literally has happened, and they'll get used to it. You start programming the
Hmm.
same way. Now she don't even
Absolutely.
ask what I'm doing in my mornings. Don't worry
Isn't
about
it
that.
crazy? We forget that we have that power. And I think it's part of it is because we so unconsciously program the other stuff that we don't realize, like, yes, this is going to take a little bit more work to reprogram them and change that narrative of, I don't have to answer this question. I don't have to call you every day just because I'm supposed to. That doesn't make me any less of a good sister just because I don't talk to you every day. I love you from afar, but I'm not having the same fucking what did you do today conversation because I will fucking lose my shit. And it's not a constructive use of my time. It doesn't make me love you more. It actually makes me dislike you more. And so when you realize I'm not doing this anymore, like we don't need to have this conversation. And he'd be like, why? And I was like, because I just don't feel like it's constructive. I don't think we learn anything new about each other. I feel like we say the same thing over and over again. And at the end of the day, like I can literally just send you a text message that says I love you, and then you know how I feel. And we didn't have to do this like hour-long blah session that makes me think that I don't know how we came out of the same womb. So we're not doing this anymore. And we're not. And he was like really upset for a little while. And now we're good. Like we're fine. But it's that whole
Boundaries.
the boundaries and recognizing one, removing any expectations of like how well this is going to go because it might go terribly.
I was
And
just gonna
once,
bring that up though really quick. I think setting your expectations, what you said is a good way to look at it, but I also think that sometimes changing it to be, if we go back to the we're the authors of our life and we write our stories, and Megan made me think of it because I used to be that way where it was like I was going to go see my family with the expectation of, oh, they're going to be asking me all these questions or they're going to do this and that. But if you go with it of, oh, I'm just going to catch up with my family to have a good time, whatever, it's like you're setting the tone and the precedent of what that experience with whoever is going to be like. So just being careful of that too. If you're going into an event or whatever it may be with the expectation of, oh, it's going to be like this because it's always like this. Yeah, it's going to be like that. So just
right.
being careful of how you set that too.
And recognizing it's like that because I let it be. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That part sucks. That looking at yourself and being like, I let this happen. I let them ask me questions that I don't feel comfortable answering. So they're going to keep asking questions that you don't feel fucking comfortable answering because you let them instead of doing what you just did, which was like, you know what, we're just going to keep this between us. And what happened? They're like, shit, what do you say to that? Because it's fucking logical. Yes, you
Yeah.
want to keep your life to yourself? Wow. I wish I could fucking do that. And then they might actually, it might trickle down the line to where when they get asked questions that they don't feel comfortable at answering, they might use that same answer because they didn't even conceptualize that was a thing, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I can make people uncomfortable for my own well-being. What?
Do you ever have someone, I have a family member, but she's always asking
Cousin
your
Janet.
business.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, cousin Janet. She will never freaking.
Yeah.
You can be like, "Hey, what's going on with your daughter? What happened with that thing?" Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get involved
It's
in
a
my
way to
kids' stuff.
deflect.
But yeah,
Like
but
if
then
I
suddenly
feel
they ask you, "What happened with that thing?" It's like you're
Mhm.
nosy as hell, but you will never want to speak up on what's going on in your life.
It's a way to deflect. It's like the solution to there being like empty space to where they're going to talk about themselves. So a lot of times you'll see that with people who are hiding things or people who are like just live a very uninteresting life or have nothing happening for themselves. They're going to fill the space with other stuff like about you or about other people, like gossipers, because they don't want to leave any open space to talk about them. And yeah, it's not my thing.
You
I'm
know,
still rewriting my rules, by the way, because I'm slowly, like I said, it's
Forever.
slowly trying to get because because of this group I have been just slowly implementing things, so I can't just tell my mom to go to hell when she asks me a million questions, but I'm slowly like I was busy and then just brush off to something else, but I'm still working on it because there's still things that I probably still speak too much, which still opens the availability for another day for her to ask, because last week you were open to talk about it, but this week moody and you just want to say you were busy. Okay. So I'm still working on consistency with those boundaries.
just say you're too busy to talk. Just say that. Yeah, I'm busy working on this. You're taking up my time, my precious time.
I started doing that too. Because I've always been the person where I always answer. I've always answered
Yeah.
everybody's freaking call and everybody's text, and I stop what I'm doing and put my whole life on pause just to answer. So I stopped doing that shit too. And then it's like, I called you 3 times. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I was busy all 3 of those times. So
I was busy and I'm
if
still am. What's up? What do you need?
I was at the Aspire event. My cleaning lady, I had 4 missed calls throughout the day, and my friend was just like, "Don't answer it. You're here. You're in the moment." And then she's calling, and she kept calling. I'm like, "Maybe it's an emergency. Has she ever called during an emergency?" I'm like, "No." So the next morning, I'm trying to sleep in because we got home late, and I missed a call at 7 something a.m. or 6 a.m. I can't remember, but
I wish a bitch would call me at 6 a.m.
Seriously.
I waited exactly till 8 a.m.
seriously,
To call her back. I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Oh, hey there. I tried calling you yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah." And she was just trying to figure out. I texted her how she wanted to get paid for painting the other house. And she was just like, "Yeah, I wanted to see how you." I'm like, "Couldn't you do that in text?" I texted you even about it. She's like, "I figured it'd be better over the phone to talk about it." Oh my God.
yeah. So I am guilty of that. But my reasoning is sometimes I'm in my car and I'm like, I can't text and drive. seriously dangerous. Nobody should be texting and driving. But sometimes I call and I'm like, I always give the disclaimer like, hey, I know I could do this via text, but I have to tell you this, so that's why I'm calling. And
Yeah. We've all done that, but that's different. Hey, this is way too much to text. I'm gonna call you.
it's hearing you guys though, it's
Like,
humbling me. I'm like, oh my God, I just need to shut up and text people.
Literally, I'm a fan of the is now a good time to call real quick. I just need 5 minutes. Because then they can say yes or no. And if they don't answer, obviously say no. But I'm a big fan of that. That way you have that choice of do I like, or they can just be like, call me in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
call me when you can.
great. I'm a big fan of that one. But I feel like all of these all go back to rewriting the rule of feeling like you have to tell your mom everything to be a good daughter, or feeling like you have to disclose everything to be close to people. And
They want you to be to make them happy.
yes.
That belief is out the window.
Yeah.
That's an insane belief. Rewrite the rules. I remember one time my mom made a comment. I'm gonna whisper because my son is in another room, but she made a comment one time. I think they were like drinking. My family fucking Puerto Rican as fuck. Everybody drinks, whatever. But they were like drinking and my son was, and I was like, Chris, go to the other room. I just, that was a habit. Kids are not with the adults and part. Like kids are over there, adults are here. So I told my son, go to the other room. And my mom, oh, she pissed me off that day. She did have a few drinks in her, but she was like, oh, he'll be fine. It's in his blood. He's bound to drink when he gets older. Ooh, that shit had me boiling because I remember hearing that shit when I was young. Not so much. It wasn't really she'll be fine. It was kids get the fuck out of here. The adults are here. That part was for sure, but because it's your grandkid, it's okay. No. And then number two is like that whole, you guys will probably drink when you're older. My mom used to smoke cigarettes when we were young, and we used to be like, oh my God, mom. Back in the day, you could smoke in the damn car with 3 kids in the back. So we'd be like, oh, you're killing us. And she'd be like, okay.
And they're not wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, for real. And she'd say something like, I better not see you guys smoking when you get older. Or like, you're bound to probably smoke, or some shit like that. And I was just be pissed. And I did end up smoking cigarettes. I quit, thank God. She's still battling with that. So she's finally, I think, let it go. But yeah, that shit pissed me off because it's, no, you don't write my son's story, damn it. You damn sure don't write his story. And no, I'm actually teaching him the opposite because I have health issues and it came from alcohol, that I'm teaching him, you don't want to be like this. Alcohol is poisoning from day one. And whatever, I don't want to speak like a hypocrite. I still have a drink every now and then. But point is, she was trying to write my son's story before it was even written. I'm not claiming that. Don't put that bad energy into
And
the
it's sometimes it's even the thing is one of the rules that we feel like is if even if it's like a positive thing, right? Like my friends' kids are like absurdly attractive. Like they're gonna be hot when they get older. Just stupid attractive children. The most beautiful children I've ever seen in my entire life. And one of their rules is there's no pictures. So not that I would put them on YouTube to show you, but I literally can't because they don't let people take pictures of their kids. But anyways, one of the things that her and her partner love to make people uncomfortable. Really, they love to uphold their own boundaries, and that just ends up making people uncomfortable. But this woman in the grocery store was admiring her son and was like, you are just the cutest. You're going to be a lady killer. You're going to have all the girls. And she was like, could you not, please? And the lady was like, huh? She's like, could you not forecast his future for him? You don't know him. And I was like, holy shit, that's so uncomfortable. But it's so true. She's like, you're going to be beating the girls off with a stick. And she's like, first of all, don't tell him to beat girls with a stick. Fucking weird. But it's it's the same thing. Like whether it's positive or negative, like people feel like that they can just speak about you, like they know you, or that they're
I've gotten that
casting
about
their
my
own
son.
vision.
Gotten that
And
about
it's
my
like,
son. He's gonna be a ladies' man. A ladies' man. All the ladies are gonna want him. I'm like, they're putting it into his ears, my ears, everybody's ears. I'm like, can y'all not turn my kid into a man whore before he even gets
right,
married?
exactly. And she was like, I don't want this. And I also don't want him admired because he's attractive. Like everybody says it all the time. She's like, it's so frustrating because they're worth so much more than the way that they look. At home, they're praised for all the other things. But it's that same like concept of you don't have to just accept what's happening because that's the polite thing to do. That's the rule. Like you should just take it because that lady was, I'm sure, coming from a wonderful place. But at the same time, it's no. Like I remember when I was younger, I would see people like touching strangers' bellies when they were pregnant, and it blew my mind. I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? And I remember being like, if I ever got pregnant and someone did that, I would karate chop them. I'm not even kidding. I will fucking assault you. Do not touch me with whatever energy you're coming with. And you sure as hell aren't going to touch my child. Because who the fuck walks around rubbing fat man's belly that you don't know? You don't. You don't fucking do that because it's fucking weird. But you
It's
feel
rude.
A-okay to do it to a pregnant woman. And it's like, for what?
Or when someone
Like,
touches your hair, even your hair, you're like, oh my God, your
Mm.
hair's so pretty. What the fuck are you touching my hair for?
I had people do that when I had braids, and especially at bars and drunk people. Oh, I love your hair.
I had a girl
And then,
pull in my hair when it was purple and was like, is this your real hair? And I was like, did you fucking just touch me?
I feel like women go through it so much. It is different for y'all. I do not envy being a woman. Very thankful for y'all. Just hearing all this, I'm like, I
Appreciate it.
I am already crazy with people. But
COVID was fantastic. That's 6 feet. Baby, give my elbow some room. Because people feel this urge to be okay with being entirely too close to you. And you're like, I will cough on your face, like right now. Just back off. I don't know what
6
makes you
feet.
feel.
It's still a way of living, by the way. It's still a very good, valid way of living. I'd be like, back up, give me some space.
I had a lady, I have a tattoo behind my ear, and I had a lady touch it. She wanted to feel it. And I was like, did you just touch the back of my ear? This is before Monica had balls, to be fair. I actually just was like, what? I don't know what's happening right now. I didn't say anything. But today, Monica had different things to say.
or
So
when
crazy.
guys think they can just hug you just because, why are just the guys hugging? Why aren't girls offering? We're not hugging each other. The guys just
Huggering?
trying
oh
to
my
whatever.
God.
Why? I'm like, we girls don't just go, oh, we're gonna miss you. I don't know. I guess we're not that touchy feely or something. But the guys all of a sudden like, oh, they all wanted to hug all the women. It's like, what the heck? They're gonna hug all the females.
Don't ever
Like
go
that.
to a drunk fucking bathroom, a girl's bathroom in the bar or club. Everybody's fucking, oh my God, girl, you're so beautiful. And they just fucking feel the need to touch you.
See, that's why I can't go out anymore. I was
Me
just telling my
neither. I ain't got
mom,
no time for that
she was
shit.
like, I said some comment about how it's just better to be in your own space or something. Because my brother is super introverted and I've always been the extrovert. And so when I said that, my mom was like, that's new, that's different. And I'm like, yeah, I just started to realize that like protecting your space and your energy is just, that's where it's at.
Top notch, baby. Top notch.
There's definitely times that I suffer from FOMO, but then
Same.
I'm like, you know what? My partner and I, we like to go have a nice dinner, and maybe we'll go to a more like popular spot in town. And we live in a college town. So the thing is, it's like Thursday nights are crazy, but then we go, and then people start showing up, and they're just getting messed up, and it's college students. They're loud, and they're
People ruin
between
everything.
18 to 23-year-olds, and you're weird in your body because you're not in your parents' house anymore, and like you're trying to acclimate to society, so you're just naturally loud. I get
You're just doing
it.
too much.
I get it, but I chose to be here, and now I'm choosing not to come back here.
Back.
Like
I
it
was
was
just having
a
this
choice,
conversation
and
like,
it wasn't a good one.
no, exactly. I'm in an era of I just want to have one-on-one girls' nights where we smoke a joint, do a puzzle, and watch Friends. That's it. That's all I want in my life.
Yeah, good combo, guys.
I feel like we covered a lot of these like common rules just in conversation. There's only one right way to follow, trying to avoid falling into the trap that people set out for you. And there is also, again, I don't have children, but I can sympathize with the parents' view of having a vision for your child. Because it generally, unless they're psychopaths, comes from a sweet, loving place, right? Like, I just want the best for you. And this is the vision I've created. And where it gets fucked up, obviously, is like not allowing for your own vision for your life to live it out. That's where it gets fucked up. But if you can hold
Yeah.
that compassion of they really just want what's best for you. And it might not, it might look like it's like anti what you're living. And really it's more just like pro whatever they think, which is probably like the version that's easier, smooth, no risk, just doing what everyone else is doing. And that just seems like a way to keep you, which is their biggest investment in life, safe. And so if you can look at it from that perspective and speak to them from that perspective of like, I recognize a lot of this is coming from a loving place. It's just not true for me. You can probably have a more like constructive conversation if anybody is on the precipice of having that difficult. I just don't think this is for me.
I just need to find like a significant other can be that like I can't wait to show up to a family get together and be like, all right, she's gonna tell them all what's up, and she's gonna be the voice for it. All right, I don't have to say anything. I'm just gonna let it be the
You know what's so funny is I'm glad you brought it back to this because it was something that I like noticed was like a trend for you. Take this with all of the love because that's all this is coming from. Of I look forward to the day where no one else has to deliver your news for you. You don't need a mission to tell your parents. You don't have someone else letting you out the closet. You don't like, you're just, this is what it is, mom and dad, love, peace, and confident in that because you
Without
deserve
them,
it.
yeah, without them having a heart attack.
Yeah, but that's not on you. That wouldn't be on you. That would be
Yeah,
their crazy reaction
that's
to
my
you
fault
living
of
your
you.
life.
You overreacted.
I feel you.
I like this last quote. The freedom begins the moment you stop following rules that don't belong to you. And just remembering that you guys are the author of your story and you get to write it however you choose.
For sure. Because I know I've said it before. We have one teeny tiny little precious life, and none of these other people are going to live it for you. None of these other people are going to be laying in your deathbed reviewing the shit you didn't do because you're worried about what other people think. Like, they're not going to be there. It's just going to be you and whatever you think happens afterwards. And so having this, like, incredible weight of what all of these other people and their opinions on how you should shuck and jive in your own life because you're not doing that for them. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not constructing their life for them or anyone else. So when you are able to release that shit and like literally even maybe do this like in the shower or whenever it comes up of like I'm releasing whatever ties, whatever expectations, maybe we'll do that in this meditation. But just when you're able to do that and recognize if I don't set this up, if I don't write my own story, if I'm not the author and I allow other people to do it for me, then I'm not living my purpose. I'm not living what I was put on this earth for. And that is like an injustice to what your soul is here for.
That was good. I'm so glad I hopped on right then and there. That was way worth it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
glad.
Well, you guys ready to get into a meditation to end the night?
Yes.
Sweet.
I'm actually not I'm sitting purposely.
Yay! You can close your eyes.
Yeah.
I always have to give that disclaimer. Everyone but Meg. Close your eyes.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Close your eyes. Get into a comfortable seated position. We're going to take in a deep breath, filling our belly, filling our chest. Hold for just a moment, feeling full, and then release through your mouth with a sigh. You may feel you can crack your neck a little bit, loosen your shoulders, loosen your jaw. Take another deep breath in, filling all the way up, filling up so much air. You feel like you might burst, but just hold it for just a moment. And then let it out with a sigh. And on this last inhale, filling up even more. Now that you have some space, all that stagnant air and energy is out. I'm letting it out with a slow sigh. As you continue breathing slowly through your nose, out through your nose, finding a rhythm that feels natural. I want you to imagine the voice of someone you love saying something or telling you something about yourself or making you feel a certain way that doesn't feel in alignment, that doesn't feel natural to you. And I want you to imagine it as something on you that you can brush off. A hair, piece of dust, maybe a string that's tied around your wrist. And I want you to imagine pulling it off, wiping it away. Maybe actually physically wipe your arms down. Imagine pulling the string off of your wrist. Let that return to sender. Let it go back to their beliefs, their thoughts, their ideas. Doesn't belong to you. And I want you to imagine that anytime you get that feeling, that misalignment, that feeling of that's not for me, that's not mine. I don't believe that. I just want you to bring yourself back to this moment, feeling yourself wiping it away without physically having to wipe it away. Just imagine yourself shaking it off. It's okay. You don't need to react. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to justify your choices. And maybe you can imagine something that you can use as your shield, as your armor, your slogan. Whenever someone says something that you don't want to dive into any deeper, maybe it's something as simple as keeping my life private for now, or I'm not ready to talk about that, or thank you, but I'm good, or I appreciate your opinion. No, thank you. Whatever you can come up with, keep it short, keep it kind. Don't apologize. I challenge you to try it out this week. See how good you feel, knowing that you were there for yourself. Easy for us to villainize others for stepping over boundaries or having malicious intent. And instead, if we focus our energy on our role in the interaction, the thing that we can actually change, that we actually have power over, we can completely shift the dynamic. You're no longer a victim. You're no longer feeling like people do things to you. You can let go of resentment. Oftentimes, resentment comes from our inability or unwillingness to protect ourselves. And so if you give yourself the challenge to be there for you, to lovingly uphold your boundaries and allow yourself to protect your peace in a way that you feel good about without attacking or feeling the need to defend, and just be able to remove the string from your wrist, wipe away the dust, remove the layers, and stand confidently in the life that you're writing for yourself, in the choices that you're making. By arming yourself with a simple phrase that allows you to end interactions before they go down the path of feeling uncomfortable or feeling stretched thin. By holding up your boundary, it allows you to have the space to move. It allows you the space to love from afar or even up close without feeling drained. Something as simple as, I'd rather talk about something else. I'd rather talk about something positive. I'd rather talk about the book I just read. Anything other than feeling the need to explain yourself or entertain opinions. This is your life. And the more that you live your life in a way that feels aligned and centered and real and true, the more beautiful things will be presented to you. The more space you have for joy, abundance, peace. So many of us seek peace and happiness, but we allow our lives to be filled with chaos, obligations, shouldas, wouldas, couldas, other people's opinions. There's only so much space. There's only so many hours in a day. So giving yourself space by upholding these boundaries, drawing the line in the sand, you create space for the things that you want. You create a new page in your story, room to write, the space to imagine and dream, manifest. So going into this week, I wish that for you. I'm sure you will be presented with an opportunity where you can hold your boundary, where you can come up with your phrase on the spot, maybe. But if you're armed, it'll come easier. If you practice it in your mind, it'll come easier. envision yourself confidently choosing your own safety, your own peace. And envision everyone around you understanding. And envision yourself being okay if they don't. You no longer have to sacrifice yourself and your peace for the comfort of others. You are your top priority. And when you feed yourself what your soul desires, what your body needs, what your heart longs for, you become the best version of yourself, and everyone around you benefits. I wish that for you. And it all takes practice. One awkward step at a time. Take a deep breath in. Fill your body with confidence. Fill your body with the peace that will come on the other side of potential discomfort, on the other side of the fear. And as you exhale, watch all of it disappear, melt away. It's not as big as your mind is making it. One more deep breath in, filling your body with the love and compassion that you deserve. And as you exhale, feel that same energy going out to everyone you love and care about. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Another great conversation, sharing your stories and your authenticity with us. We so appreciate you. The light in me sees and recognizes the light in each of you. Namaste. Feel free to stretch before you come back to the room. Open your eyes.
That was great. Thanks, Monica.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Even if you just caught the tail end, Michelle, I'm glad you were here with us.
It was good, but I'm not racing off to a crazy pace moment.
Oh
You
I'm
no.
gonna
are?
enjoy. No, I'm not. I'm gonna
Oh,
enjoy
good.
the rest that was
Oh,
given.
okay.
Such wisdom and comfort. That was good.
I'm
Awesome.
glad.
Yeah, you all have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you next week. Finish the week out strong.
Good
You
night.
guys too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.